Wow. Yes, please. Thank you. Wonderful. Alright, let's get started. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this particular video, you already know the importance of a skill like storytelling. You already know that no amount of artificial intelligence can ever buy a skill like storytelling. No amount of artificial intelligence can ever take over the human mind when it comes to storytelling, and the amount of money that this proposition can make you is endless. It did with me. It has honestly transformed my life, because trust me when I say this, I was the biggest introvert possible. I was the biggest introvert in my school. I was extremely shy. I was extremely underconfident. I didn't know how to talk to people. But if there was one skill that helped me go from where I was to where I am now, from being the biggest introvert in my entire school to becoming a public speaker that speaks all over the globe, as I am going to speak for one speech now as well. I'm currently in my flight from Bombay to Singapore going for a speech. In fact, as I say it, it's because of this one skill, ladies and gentlemen. Today, over the next 30, 40, 50 odd minutes, whatever time I have before my flight lands, I'll give you the 3 core pillars of storytelling. The 3 core pillars with which you can become a spectacular storyteller. So make sure you watch this video till the very end. If you're new, make sure you subscribe to the channel. My name is Paritosh Anand. I'm a 27-year-old entrepreneur and storyteller professionally. But personally, I think I am just an overthinker who loves to simplify complexity. And yeah, that's exactly what I'll be doing here in front of you as well. I'll be simplifying the complexities of storytelling today. Let's get right into it. So the 3 core pillars of storytelling. Number 1, the foundation. Number 2, the picture. And number 3, the garnishing. Very simple, alright? But before getting to the specifics of it, I'd like to tell you a story. And this story is extremely important because you don't understand storytelling without a story, right? It's almost like me teaching you how to swim, but not inside a swimming pool. Me teaching you how to swim inside a classroom. That does not make any sense whatsoever, right? So because I'm sitting in a flight, I'll tell you a story from my first flight ever. I remember I was boarding my first flight from Dehradun to Delhi. It was an early morning flight, so I had to wake up really early in the morning, and I hate waking up early in the morning. My mother woke me up and I was very irritated. One thing about myself though, as I told at the beginning of this one particular video as well, I was a very big introvert, right? So an introvert who is shy, underconfident, an introvert who is very afraid of talking to people, who is also irritated because he has to wake up early. That is a deadly combination. So I wake up, I make my way to the airport, I do my check-in, which just by the way was a very big task because this was my first flight, and me being an introvert, it was already very tough for me to go and ask people, where do I check in from, where do I go? So it was already very difficult, all of that, right? But somehow I managed to sit on that plane. But then a nightmare happened, and the nightmare was that I felt thirsty. Now the problem is not feeling thirsty. The problem is, what do you do when you feel thirsty? A normal human being in this case would just press the button, call for the staff, they'll get you water. Simple, right? In my case, it was different, man. It was different because I didn't know how to ask for water. So I'm sitting there, I'm practicing. I press the button and I start practicing. What am I going to say when she comes? Do I take her name? Do I not take her name? Should I speak loudly? Should I ask for permission like I ask in school? What exactly should I do? I had nothing in mind, and the moment she came, I just... Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I am not kidding. But it was such a cute moment because although I did not get any water, she just thought that I'm playing around with her. She smiled and she went away, but it was a cute moment. So this was the story. Now, explaining you the 3 foundations of storytelling, and now as and when I'm telling you, I want you to connect them with the story that I just told you. Alright, what do I mean by the foundation of your story? The foundation of your story is the core emotion that your entire story sits on. For me, for the story that I just told you, my story sits on multiple emotions. It sits on nostalgia. I am talking about my first flight. It sits on insecurities, my insecurity of being an introvert, of being underconfident, of being shy, which is something that is very relatable, right? Another very relatable emotion is waking up early in the morning. So I am making use of emotions like these, and I am reiterating them as much as I possibly can to make sure that my foundation is being set. Why? Just visualize an entire story to be like a beautiful dish in a plate. That plate right there, the plate in which the entire dish sits on, is your emotion. Without that emotion, without that plate, there is nothing for us to serve that dish on, right? Nothing for us to eat our food from. So your emotion becomes that plate, that foundation for you to lay your story on. Point number 2, paint a picture. Now, how do you paint a picture? By adding specifics, both relevant and irrelevant to the story. Now I'll tell you how. Did you see how I was adding the smallest of all details to my story? Details like it being my first flight, it being from Dehradun to Delhi, it being an early morning flight, so I had to wake up even earlier. My mother was waking me up. I was feeling very irritated. I went to the airport, I did my check-in, but then I entered into my flight. I sat in this one particular seat number, and then I felt what? Thirsty. Then I did what? Pressed the button. Then I did what? I practiced. I am adding all of these details, both necessary and unnecessary. But why am I doing that? To paint a picture for you so that you can imagine the different dishes on that particular plate. Don't worry if it's getting complicated, I'll simplify it for you. Ask yourself, what is a good story? Ladies and gentlemen, a good story is a story that can be easily re-narrated. It's very important at this point. A story that can be easily re-narrated is a great story. Now, how do you ensure that the story can be re-narrated? By painting a picture inside the heads of the listener, by making them feel that they are the central character and everything that you're talking about in that particular story, they are going through it, they are feeling it. And how do you do it? By adding specifics. The more you add, the more details you add about the character, the surroundings, what's happening, who's feeling, what are they feeling, how are they feeling. The more of these details that you add, the more you allow them to feel like they are the central character of that particular story and they're present right there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, happens through the specifics that you add that helps the person paint a picture inside their heads. In our entire plate and dish analogy, the emotion was the plate. In this case, the specifics become the dishes that are added on that particular plate. For example, if you've ordered chicken, it's that piece of chicken. If you've ordered paneer, it's that piece of paneer. Without that, the dish is incomplete, right? So without specific details, your story is incomplete as well. Now, coming to point number 3, the most important, garnishing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to become a spectacular storyteller, you've got to garnish your stories well. And the best way to do it is via voice modulation. I scream about this a lot. I keep talking about voice modulation pretty much all of the time, but today we're going to simply learn it in the form of a graph. Now, if I were to say voice modulation, there are 3 main aspects of it. Number 1, rate of speech. Number 2, pitch of speech. And number 3, volume of speech. Now let's discuss all 3 of these, alright? But I'm going to make it easy for you. We're going to look at this graph. First, let's discuss the rate of speech. Rate of speech is how fast versus how slow you can speak. I'll do it again. Listen to me very carefully. If the speed at which the words coming out of your mouth is increasing, the rate of speech is going up. But if the speed of it is coming down, the rate of speech is coming down. That's number 1. Number 2, pitch of speech. Pitch of speech is how high versus how low you speak. It's the notes. Imagine your vocal box like an instrument, like a piano for that sake. How high versus how low can you speak? Simple. And then of course the volume of speech. This is very simple to understand. How loud versus how silently you can speak. I cannot be very loud because I'm pretty sure you can see that I'm in a flight right now and other people are sleeping while I'm here working, but you get my point. These 3, ladies and gentlemen, these are like weapons for your vocal box. The more you understand them, the more you practice them, the more you practice your rate of speech, the faster you go versus the slower you go. The more you practice your pitch, for example, the higher you speak versus the lower you speak. And the more you practice your volume, the more you practice these independent weapons, the more you'll be able to modulate your voice. And trust me when I say this is very extremely important in storytelling because you would have seen me doing this as well. This makes a person feel the emotion. Here, you're talking about that emotion, but if you want the person to feel the emotion, you need to garnish it. and that is done by voice modulation. So in that entire plate analogy that we had, where the plate was our emotion and the dishes were our specifics, your garnishing becomes the salt, the pepper, the masala, without which we don't like our food, right? That is it. Now try to remember the story I told you, and now try to reiterate how exactly I used all of these things differently in that particular story. How I used emotions as the very core, as the very foundation of that particular story. How I was adding specifics. How I was modulating my voice. I was speaking fast. I was taking my pitch up whenever I was excited, and whenever I wanted to grasp your attention, I was giving more pauses. I was speaking a little slower. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of the day, you need to understand that a great storyteller is nothing but a great liar. A great storyteller is a great liar. Do you really think the story that I told you in the beginning was true? Do you really think that was my first ever flight experience? Do you really think I wasn't able to ask for a glass of water? Do you really think that happened? That might have happened. That could have happened. That could be a true story. Or it could be totally a made-up story. But the very fact that you felt it was believable was because of all of these things. The foundation, the picture, and the garnishing. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. As long as you're able to make the person feel that they are the person that you are talking about in your story, they are the central character, and everything that is happening in your story is happening with them, you will prove yourself to be a great storyteller. That's it. I hope this helps you in your journey as whatever for that sake, as a creator, as a founder, as an entrepreneur, whatever for that sake. Although if you feel that you're an introvert, if you feel you're shy, underconfident, if you feel you have a lot of ideas inside your head but you're not able to take them out to the world, I have something for you. So I was an introvert myself, and I knew that I had this dream of speaking all over the globe. So I transformed from being that underconfident, that shy kid in school, to being that public speaker who speaks all over the globe. As I told you as well, I'm currently flying from Mumbai to Singapore for my speech. But the point that I'm trying to make here is very simple, that no one could be there for me, which is why I want to be there for you. And that's why I created this course called Introvert to Icon, through which I help transform the life of every single introvert out there, for them to discover their true potential and transform from who they are to who they're truly meant to be. It's a wonderful course, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me, if I had been in this situation myself, I would have taken this course without batting an eyelid. I've literally summarized my entire life's experience in this one particular course. I'm talking about everything: how to start conversations, how to break the ice, how to carry those conversations, how to be more confident in those conversations. Then again, I'm bringing and breaking down more of storytelling. I'm teaching voice modulations in the best ways possible. I'm literally playing the piano and teaching voice modulation, teaching body language, breaking down my speeches, my live speeches, and a lot more apart from that as well. So yeah, if you're someone who's interested in taking that course, I'll leave a link down in the description. You can also use this code on your screen called Icon20 for a special discount. But yeah, that being said, I genuinely hope this video was helpful to each and every one of you. If it was, make sure you leave a like, make sure you share it with your fellow friends as well. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. If you're old, make sure you keep telling me what more videos you want me to make on this channel. My name is Paritosh, and you'll see me around.